Let's say you agree that there must be a God. How can we know which one is true? A simple process of elimination would be a helpful start. Today, we're going to cover 5 reasons that polytheism is not true. This will eliminate any religion that is polytheistic. First, let's define polytheism. Polytheism is the worldview that many finite gods exist in the world. The polytheist denies any infinite God beyond the world, and according to this worldview, gods are active in the world and often have their own domain. Some forms of polytheism may have a hierarchy of gods, but there is no infinite God. Let's jump into the reasons why polytheism cannot be true. Reason number 1: polytheism is contradicted by science. It cannot explain the beginning of the universe. Cosmology and the second law of thermodynamics show the universe had a beginning, but polytheism holds to an eternal universe as a standard. Because polytheism believes in many finite gods, there is no way to have a necessary being or an uncaused cause in this worldview. This means that the polytheist must believe the universe is eternal, or possibly that nothing at all caused everything, both scientific impossibilities. Interestingly, long before the 20th century scientists discovered that the universe must have an absolute beginning, Moses wrote in the opening statement of Genesis, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Reason number 2: polytheism does not explain the fine tuning of the universe. The fine tuning of the universe for life is undisputed, yet polytheism has no mechanism to account for this. With the belief in one God, who is timeless and all powerful, there would be a clear explanation for fine tuning. One example is that the expansion rate of the universe must be fine tuned to 1 part in 10 to the 55th power. On theism, that's clearly explainable. But on polytheism, with a mixture of limited gods, fine tuning is simply not possible. Reason number 3: polytheism does not explain objective morality. Objective morality is written on our hearts, and we all live as if right and wrong were objective. But on a polytheistic view, there is no ultimate standard or lawgiver, everything is subjective, even amongst the various gods themselves. Reason number 4: polytheism denies a necessary being. The argument from contingency demonstrates that logically there must be a necessary being, yet polytheism denies any necessary being. In fact, logically there can only be one necessary being, which would disprove polytheism. Thus, this worldview has no explanatory power without a necessary being to show how time, space, life, or anything for that matter, could have come about. Reason number 5: monotheism was actually the first belief. Wilhelm Schmidt, a German scholar, archaeologist, and linguist, wrote a 12-volume set showing that monotheism, belief in one infinite God, was the original and earliest concept of God and religion. The earliest records we have, including Genesis, Job, the Ebla tablets, all demonstrate monotheism. A study by John Mbiti of 300 primitive religions in Africa shows they unanimously were monotheistic, without a single exception. Regarding the reliability of Genesis in the Old Testament, the famed archaeologist William F. Albright wrote, "Thanks to modern research, we now recognize its substantial historicity. The narratives of the patriarchs, Moses and the Exodus, of the conquest of Canaan, of the judges, the monarchy, exile, and restoration have all been confirmed." This refutes the false argument that polytheism came first and monotheism was a later development. A quick note: humans tend to worship many things, unfortunately, in place of God, such as money. So, in a sense, there are other gods, so to speak, but there are not other beings that are actually God. We'll continue narrowing the scope in search of the true God because we know there can only be one.